demons just handed you the throne?
No one hands you anything, darling. I took it.
When you go through all kinds of hell by yourself, you really don't care who walks out of your life anymore.
We stand together, we stand as one. We will not be broken, we'll overcome. This is our battle cry, oh hear our drum. We will not be silenced, our voice is one.
If your path demands you to walk through hell,
and I'm feeling
walk in as if you own the place.
For once, Ed, we are in complete agreement. NightBreed is an underrated classic, and Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Miss Violet's Underworld, here again with Deadhead Ed, talking about a forgotten masterpiece by the master of horror himself, Clive Barker. This film is one of my personal favourites. Excuse the hoodie today, everybody. It is wash day here in the Underworld, and believe me, when you have this many bloodstained clothes, that is a long wash day. But yes, today we're talking about NightBreed. This is first time viewing for me, the director's cut of NightBreed. Closer to the book, closer to Clive's original vision. It is absolutely amazing. For those who may not know of NightBreed, who may not have seen it, who may not have even heard of it before, it is a Clive Barker film. It came out shortly after Hellraiser 2, I do believe. I think that's what they mentioned in the Blu-ray special features, it came out shortly after Hellraiser 2. It tells the story of a man named Boone and his quest to find the town, I suppose you could call it, of Midian. Now, the slight snafu here is Midian is actually a underground city populated by what people would refer to as monsters, because these people have strange abilities, they look strange. A standout one for me, and I will talk about her more in a little while, is Shauna Sassy. She looks like a human porcupine, and the creature design for her is breathtaking, in my opinion. She is beautiful and deadly, which I can sympathize with. But yeah, as the film progresses, there's a subplot with David Cronenberg as the killer, which the film does not want to keep a mystery. It wants to let you know from very early on that this person is the killer. It's not a murder mystery. You're not trying to figure out, or when are people going to find out who this guy is. That's not the point of this film. The point of this film is that the monsters are the heroes. They're the good guys. They're the ones you should be rooting for. Because this film definitely casts, the director's cut version anyway, definitely casts more of a light on that humans are the true monsters in our world. Not those that we perceive to be monsters, not the ones that may look monstrous. It's the ones who look like everyday people who are the monstrous ones. The film, as a director's cut, it does, this Blu-ray box set does, sorry, got the wrong way up. This Blu-ray box set does come with the theatrical cut, but I've already seen the theatrical cut. And as much as I liked it for the monster designs at the time, this blows it out of the water. There's an introduction with Clive Barker, and I can't remember his name, but the guy who helped restore a lot of the footage, who went on a quest to find all the lost footage and piece it back together for this. Finally, the director's cut. There is the Cabal cut, which features some of the stuff in here, but it's very rough. This is the way Clive would have presented it to you had he had his way back when it first released. The one thing I want to talk about, I don't want to spoil the plot too much for people, because For those who haven't seen this, I highly recommend, if you're a fan of Clive Barker's in any which way, shape or form, whether you love his books, his films, that one video game that he did, the line of action figures that McFarlane did in the Tortured Souls line, I need to get hold of some of those. Oh, I do. But if you're a fan of anything Clive Barker, I highly recommend that you go and check this film out. The director's cut, not the theatrical cut, not the Cabal cut, as good as they are. Well, theatrical, but go get the director's cut, check it out. Honest, in my opinion, it is the definitive version of the film. In Clive's opinion, it's the definitive version of the film. So I don't want to spoil too much of the plot. So here is a nice big fat spoiler warning, because I'm going to talk about the ending, because the ending had an unexpected impact on me that I was not prepared for. So, spoiler warning ahead. If you don't want to watch, skip to, I don't know, the last 5 minutes. I don't know how long this rant's going to be. I do apologise for my viewers. Right, here we go then. For those who are still watching, towards the end of the film, the psychiatrist, Dr. Philip Deckard, who is actually the button-eyed mask, zip mouth thing wearing killer. Again, the film does not keep that secret. It's like very, very early on. It's like, boom, no, he's killer. It tells you. Because it's more the story of Boone and finding Midian and being accepted there because he is one of them. The clan of the clan of the moon, or the moon of something like that, something to do with the moon. But anyway, throughout the course of the film, you find out that Midian is actually a very large underground city, and it houses all these monsters, but that includes like children and you know, innocent ones who have done nothing. And in the Blu-ray special features, Doug Bradley, because Doug Bradley is in this, he talked about his character and the town itself, and says that, you know, these monsters just want their little corner of the world to exist in. They don't want to hurt anyone, they just want to be left alone. And, you know, there's very much themes throughout the film of, if you look different, if you act different, if you are different, then you're an outcast. I was wholly on board for this concept that because you are different, you will be hurted and hated for it. Hurted, that's not even a word, but you will be hurt. You'll be hated and hurt for it, for simply being what you are. And that's what this is all about. That's what this film's underlying theme is that if you are different, if you do not match society's quality of normal, you'll be hated for it. So the psychiatrist leads the local police to the cemetery that Midian is underneath. It's a completely underground city, just like a cemetery on top. And when you see the sacking, shall we say, of the city, the raid on Midian, and you see these monsters getting gunned down, that 5 minutes ago you saw them just doing their thing, doing what they do. You know, you'd seen these monsters, these creatures, just living, existing, doing what they do. You know, plain and simple, that was it, nothing more. And then in got all these humans, and they're killing them left and right, and, you know, the monsters are scurrying to get the women and children away. And it hit me quite hard. I won't lie. It really, really did hit me quite hard. I was sat there watching it, and I was literally on the edge of my seat, and I was welling up. Now, bear in mind, this is marketed as a horror movie, okay? This is marketed as a horror movie. And I actually got really upset for how these creatures were being treated. Because, in some ways, I think the message is more relevant now than it was in that time. That just because we may look a little different, just because we might not fit what you classify as normal, doesn't mean that we don't belong. That we don't deserve our little piece of the world to live in. It's all we've ever asked for. It's all people have ever wanted. It's just to exist. And that's what this film instilled in me. A feeling of, I know what those monsters have been through. To be hated and hunted and abused because of being different. So I recommend this film, the director's cut of NightBreed. I recommend this for anyone who has ever felt like an outsider. You will connect with these monsters on an emotional level because you get where they come from. Because they are the outside, they are the ultimate outsiders. So, in closing, for those who have come back now after the spoilers, I rate this film, for me personally, a 10 out of 10. You cannot get a better horror movie than this, because unlike a lot of horror movies, they say in some of the special features on here that the studio just wanted a straight up slasher movie. You know, they didn't want this thought-provoking, the monsters are the good guys and humans are the real bad guys, you know, picture. They just wanted something cheap and sleazy. And say what you want about Clive Barker's works, but they are never cheap and sleazy. They are always well thought out, well crafted, deep, emotional stories that make you question what is beauty. One person's beauty is another person's grotesque. And there's monsters in this. Sean Assassy, one of my favourite creature design in this film. Seriously, check it out. Even if you don't watch the film, check out Sean Assassy from this. Whew. Oh my god. An awakening for me, I think. I have a thing for quills now. But it shows that one person's beauty is another person's grotesque, and vice versa. What you may think is disgusting, some people is beautiful personified. So, that has been my quick little review kind of thing of Clive Barker's NightBreed, the director's cut. I can give it a 10 out of 10 because I love it so much. It seems to me that every Clive Barker work that is as close to what he originally came up with is just chef's kiss perfection. I mean, Hellraiser deviated quite a bit from the original novella, The Hellbound Heart, but at the same time it stayed quite faithful to it, and I feel that this does with... the book it's originally based on is called Cabal. There is a comic book series, I do believe. I've seen some pictures online. I think there's a comic book series that continues some of this stuff on, because it is left, against spoilers, it is left very open for another one, but it never got a sequel. Maybe now with the renewed interest in Clive Barker with the new Hellraiser, and I know Clive's never going to watch this episode. I know he's never going to hear these words, but Clive Barker, dear sir, I have been an enthusiast of yours for most of my life, and if you do happen somehow to hear this, please give us another NightBreed film. Maybe get the original cast, if you can, back to play their parts again, because it's screaming out for more to be done with NightBreed. But I have been Miss Violet Impulse, and I shall catch you next time. Mwah. Bye, my sweet tortured souls.
If your path demands you to walk through hell,
And I'm feeling
walk in as if you own the place.